I cannot imagine that there'll be many people in the UK that agree with the sentence for Hugh Edwards, that being that he will not serve a single day in prison. He was given a 6-month custodial sentence, suspended for 2 years. Now, any sentence that's between 14 days and 2 years can be suspended for a maximum of 2 years, and that's been the case here. Now, is this two-tier justice? The short answer is no. Now, this is not to say that you should agree with the sentence. It's not to say that I agree with the sentence. And it's not to say that I agree with the process by which this sentence was arrived at. But it was a process nonetheless. And there's 2 or 3 reasons for it, which, again, don't shoot the messenger and don't say that I agree with this. But it is what it is. The judge has followed the sentencing guidelines to the letter, pretty much, and applied them, made a judgment call, and arrived at a 6-month suspended sentence. Now, in it, the judge has, whilst acknowledging that this is a very serious offence, which I can't even talk about here on YouTube because the video will get flagged and no one will see it, which is why you'll probably notice I think I'm going to turn the comments off as well on this video. But the judge acknowledged that this is a very, very serious offence, arguably one of the most serious offences in many people's eyes in the general public view, but heavily relied on, first of all, that he pleaded guilty at the earliest opportunity, which means that he's entitled to a third of his sentence. Personal mitigation, such as mental health, remorse, and so on, and the likelihood of reoffending. And so all of those coming to the decision to suspend the sentence. Now, looking at the sentence itself, this was, as I say, I can only pick and choose words. You obviously know what the offences are. I can't really say what they are here because, as I say, the video will get flagged, but there we go. 12 months custody for one of the offences, 4 months custody for another, 2 months custody for another, all to run concurrently. That means at the same time, not one after another. Taking into account the mitigating factors, reduced to 9 months, and then applying credit, a further reduction of 3 months, arriving at 6 months, and then considering whether or not it should be suspended. Now, although acknowledging that the custody threshold has been met, meaning that neither a fine or a community order or combination thereof would be enough, that is the custody threshold, and this has crossed that custody threshold, but then the judge considers whether it's necessary or whether it's likely to suspend this sentence. Judge says, I'm of the clear view that you do not present a risk or danger to the public at large, and specifically children, that the focus of the sentencing purposes should be to rehabilitate, and that punishment is not only achieved by way of immediate custody, and that in fact there is a realistic prospect of rehabilitation, strong personal mitigation, in particular neuro vulnerabilities, mental health at the time, and remorse, which I accept is genuine. Now, of course, many people might not agree with this. Many people might say that he does present a risk and a danger to the public at large, and specifically children, and that it deserves a custodial sentence, because they compare it with other offences where people have posted things on Facebook and they're going to prison for those things. Those were caught up in the riots, the public and violent disorder, and therefore they were treated in that light, and therefore they've gone straight to prison for those. There was nothing to warrant suspending, because the judges in those cases wanted to make a point that if you get involved in this or you encourage this, you will go straight to prison. So the judges in those cases have obviously made a point that if you do this, you will go to prison. There'll be no light touch. But here, as I say, without overly criticizing the judge, which is not my intention in this video, I cannot see the general public agreeing with this sentence. That's just my take on what I think people will think about this. I would ordinarily at this point say, let me know what you think in the comments. I'm not going to, because I'm going to turn the comments off. But this is the best I can do to explain to you why it is this has resulted in it's not a non-custodial sentence, it is a suspended custodial sentence. But the fact of the matter is he won't go to prison at all. So that's the best that I can do to explain that one. I can't explain why it's justified, because I may not think that it's justified. You may not think that it's justified. All I can tell you is that those are the sentencing remarks very broadly. You can find them online and look at them yourself. Those are the comments made by the judge in this case, the chief magistrate, and has said that there's strong personal circumstances, remorse, early plea, and mental health issues to warrant suspending the sentence. Also referring to vulnerabilities in prison and so on and so forth. The conversation, I dare say, will take place over on X, as I think it already is. So if you want to know whether I personally agree with this or not, again, with no intention to criticize the judge here, but whether you want to know whether I personally agree with this, subscribe to Black Belt Secrets in the description below. I've said that I will give my opinions over on that channel, and here I will confine myself to explaining the law to you. So best as I can, without going through in full detail, which will be pointless because the video will get suspended anyway. That's the best I can do. So thank you for watching.